righty, let's go hot. So here we are. Show's brought to you by everybody in question here. All right, can you see us?
Nope.
What's going on here?
This thing is fussy this morning.
Very fussy this morning. Let's just go with...
Maybe do you have to turn your graphic off?
I guess I have to turn my graphics off. But it won't let me turn my graphics off. So there you go.
Coffee on it.
Goodness. So changing these things down here doesn't help? Nope.
There we go.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
This thing?
Good. Welcome, everybody. I see everybody is here. Pour the coffee on it. There we go.
Right.
The cat's here. She's right there.
She's not a happy camper.
She's fine now. Oh, no. Keith's computer. Oh, man.
We're having a day here.
We're having a day.
We are a little jet lagged from Sydney and I's side, Anthony. We spent more time driving yesterday than I think we spent sleeping in the last 24 hours. So,
wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, welcome to the show. I'm Keith Duplessis. I am your board operator and not doing well at it today. Need more coffee. With me is Sydney Gwynn, our host, and our special guest today, Anthony Brown Jr. with the detailer and also Carter's Car Care out of Dallas, Texas.
You have a shirt on and you can't see it.
Hey!
How can you not see his shirt? Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Today's show is brought to you by Kimball's Hands-On Detailing because, Anthony, you were the show sponsor 2 shows ago, so I couldn't wear your shirt. So we don't have a show product, although it should be on-road, even though we don't have an on-road, quote-unquote, line, because all Sydney and I did this weekend is drive. So we'll get into that in a second. But, Anthony, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Take it away.
All right. Well, welcome, Anthony. I'm so excited to have you. We're going to have a great time this morning as soon as we all get coffee kicked in.
Definitely.
Goodness. So yeah, Keith and I just got back. I left Boise, went to Spokane, Washington. We passed on the mountain. He barely saw me. And then he came to Boise. And then yesterday we passed again. So it's been a weekend, both kind of just personal stuff. Keith had a wedding. I had a volleyball tournament, that my daughter did not play in because she's hurt. So it's been a crazy couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
Very crazy.
Yeah. A couple crazy weeks. So, normally at this point in the show, we talk about, some of our favorite products from the past couple weeks. And to be honest, since the last bead maker and coffee, I think I've only worked on 4 cars, which is absolutely crazy because that's not normal for me. Normally I have a car every day. So I did just have to go back through my schedule and I was like, what did I even do? Because literally almost immediately following the last live that we had, my daughter ended up having an appendix issue and some other issues and ended up in emergency surgery. Almost 2 weeks ago. And then she was in the hospital for 5 days. So I didn't really work. And then last week was, just trying to recover. It was spring break. It's been a crazy couple weeks. So my favorite product of the week is right before we went to the hospital, I had a car that was, it's a car that I've done for several years. So it's been done a couple times. It's a Ford Explorer, but they live on a farm and they do farm stuff in it. And it's like their family Ford Explorer, but they do farm stuff. So if you can imagine, it gets so crazy dirty. So hay, dirt, sand, stuff, just gross. So my favorite product of the week is still going to be paint gloss. Because when you have a car like that, I cannot vacuum without paint gloss. Have you tried that, Anthony?
Oh, I do it every time.
Oh, it's like
That's the only way
mind-blowing.
to vacuum.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. I'll try to vacuum without it, and then I'm like, "What are you doing?"
It doesn't feel right.
No, it is just it saves you so much time, and it's amazing. It's amazing. And so definitely in cars like that, I think back to before, I knew about that before I had paint gloss and how much time I used to spend vacuuming. And now, honestly, I get mad if it takes me 30 minutes to vacuum a car. Then I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I'm still always shocked every single time how quick work paint gloss can make for vacuuming. So if you're not already trying that, you got to try it. You'll never go back.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty awesome. So that's my product of the week. How about you, Anthony?
I would have to say, I was trying to think about this before I got on the show. So it's between Crystal Wash and paint gloss.
Love it.
We did a whole lot of Corvettes recently. It's a big car show that came down for this car show called We Are Mopar. So I did a whole lot of Chargers and Challengers as well. But I mean, Crystal Wash is just amazing. How I usually like to spray it on the wheels first, then I spray it on the whole car. Then I like to allow it dry. Then I go and start doing the wheels while it's drying. And then when I get to the wash area, now everything is crystallized and it's ready for me to start throwing the soap on and start washing it. Makes it so easy, and the car comes out so much cleaner.
Yep.
Then I like to use paint gloss. I use paint gloss on every car that I do. Every car that I do. I mean, I use it to touch up the wheels, to vacuum, touch up the glass, touch up the clear plastics on the inside. As if it's a Mercedes, you have you have the clear wood grains and stuff like that. I use for that. I use that for everything. That's like my go-to.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's between Crystal Wash and paint gloss. And before, I know you guys know, before I was kind of big, like, hey, where's the Crystal Wash video? Trying to learn how to do the Crystal Wash. Yeah. And then since you came out with it, I've been using it a lot. The only thing is that smell. It's real. That acid smell. I'm like, ooh, oh my God.
It can fix a lot of fragrance issues, but some acid products, even though that's a mild acid, he can't change.
So the smell, my issue is not necessarily the smell, because it smells so much better than like a true iron remover. But for me, it's that when I'm washing wheels and I start washing the car, that's usually when I go to make my phone calls for the day, whether I'm checking in with people or, whatever, like I schedule calls during that exterior time because it's more quiet. So that's my downfall with the Crystal Wash, is that I'm always talking when I'm spraying it on the wheels.
Oh, no.
And then I start coughing, because you shouldn't talk while you're using it.
No.
And so then every time I have to tell people, like I'm spraying Crystal Wash, because I'm like, like choking myself. And so every day I'm on the phone with somebody during Crystal Wash and I cough because you really shouldn't talk while you're using Crystal Wash. But am I right though about cleaning wheels?
Oh, yes. No, definitely.
Oh, my gosh. It makes it so much easier.
I have some Corleone Forge rims. They're a 3-piece wheel. And so they're real difficult to get into the back lip of it. And so I spray it with the Crystal Wash, let it sit for a little bit. Then I come back and then I put the brake buster on top of it. And it makes it so much easier to get in the back of that wheel. Because I mean, there's so many, like the wheel is so meticulous. It's hard to get inside there with any kind of brush or anything. So the Crystal Wash helps me break all of that down. And I hit it with the brake buster, and it just cleans the wheel. I mean, my customers are always happy with it. They love it. Yeah. But see, and then I also had to lean into it more because Keith knows we've been on kind of like we've been low on Iron Buster.
Yeah.
So, like, man, I need this Iron Buster. I need the Iron Buster. So the next best thing was Crystal Wash. Yep. And it came in and knocked it out the park. Yep. And I've been setting a lot of my customers that come in, they've been setting them on Crystal Wash, and they love it.
Yep. And I love that. That's a great point. I actually had somebody else call me a couple weeks ago and say, is this okay for my customers to use? And I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would feel totally comfortable putting that product in one of my customers' hands.
Yeah. Just tell them to wear a mask.
Well, and hey, anytime you use an acid product, gloves, eye protection, wear a mask,
Of course.
Always best practices there, right? So, so somebody asked for a short show today. Gabriel did, Sydney. So
a show.
Short show. I know.
Gabriel.
I can't believe it comes out of my mouth, but he said it. So, so our first question. This is Jessica Rook.
Yes.
And he's asking for 32-ounce labeled bottles for P&S Fabric Refresher. We don't have one for that, so I will get with Bob. I'm sure he wants to make more labels because he loves making labels.
I saw Bob was here earlier. Is he still with us? Because
he's still with us, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And then spray wax and natural finish. Natural finish, there is a label for. They come in a 25-pack. So send me an email, Jessica. I'll get you hooked up.
I agree with Jessica, though. We definitely need that 32-ounce in the fabric refresher and the spread wax. Because I've been selling a lot of the spread wax, too, to my customers. They want it in the 32-ounce bottle. And I just print out a little label maker and say, here you go. You can have it for that. They're like, well, that's cool. At least I know what it is. Because they don't want to get confused with dynamic. And I just sell them the dynamic bottle, too. So.
Yep. Well, we'll see if we can't, how shall I say, get you the legal labels for those bottles.
Yeah, but Keith, I will point out that roll of 25 is not the new label. And I know my girl Jessica, she's going to want the new design. So, Jess, we'll figure that out for you.
Who doesn't want the new?
We'll figure it out for you.
She wants the freshy.
Yes.
So, Sydney answered this question already, but I'm just kind of bouncing through here.
Yeah, she's doing much better now. She's great. Thank you, Eddie. All right. Ultra Coat Polish UCP 1987 came in clutch for us last week on an original Roadrunner with super thin paint. Yes, I saw that you did that. And I loved that.
Josh, you did your thing with that, bro. I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Ultra Coat.
What do I always say?
Ultra Coat's always the answer.
There you go. And moving on. What do you mean paint gloss for vacuuming, Sydney?
What did you mean about paint gloss for vacuuming? Okay. So paint gloss is an anti-static, right? And it's a quick detailer, waterless wash, whatever, it's kind of like Swiss Army knife, right? So and there's videos out there on it, but if you spray 1 to 2 sprays, in your section or on your carpet, and then vacuum, you don't get like the sand popping up and down. It cuts this vacuum time like in a third, literally, because it cuts the static barrier and it speeds it all up. Plus it makes it nice and dark and it looks like you just clean the carpets. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Just spray 2 spritzes and try it out, and then you'll never be able to go back and vacuum again without it. It's so amazing. Also, yes, exactly. If you use a pet hair remover, whether it be a stone or the fur reel or something, works fantastic, especially with the fur reel, because what we've learned with the fur reel is that it is so amazing, but it creates quite a bit of static also. But your fur reel will actually last longer if you're using what they call a vacuum aid. So we call paint gloss a vacuum aid in this case. So it will help your fur reel last longer. So
helps it glide a little bit more because they're pretty grabby, and that's a good thing, but it also can be a thing. So
especially if you get the newer ones too, because the new ones have like the bigger kind of like thicker grips on it, whatever. So
Totally. All right, Alex, happy Monday. Eddie, I bet Starbucks is smelling better than P&S iron. Lord, that can make a man out of you. Yeah. You know what? And I just always take this opportunity to complain. Like, imagine if you had this and you had to use Iron Buster.
Oh yeah, that smell is gonna be what you
don't have that problem.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, you guys have no idea what you're missing. Can you imagine like not being able to take a shower and then just carrying the aroma of Iron Buster with you everywhere you go, and everybody who sits next to you gets to smell it?
I bet they like,
It's not good. All right. Alex says, my product of the week is Clean Maker. One step to friend's drag car for World of Wheels car show coming up. It's going to be the glossiest ride on site. I bet it'll make it go faster too.
It will. Aerodynamics. Yep. So Stephen Chin says, good morning. And there's our next question.
Robert, hello, PNS. Good morning. I hope your daughter's feeling better. Question. I detailed my girlfriend's new SUV with the tires with brake buster, cleaned each tire after and still looked brown after cleaning 3 times.
Undressed. Did he use undressed?
Yeah. So there's a possibility that maybe the dealership used some kind of crazy dressing. That would be my guess, is, they use really sometimes not the best chemicals. And so I think you need undressed to fully strip them for sure.
Did he dilute it down, or was it just, did he use it straight? Some people can dilute it down too much.
Yeah, my thing on brake buster on tires and wheels, I use it straight all the time. Yeah, I just use less product. I mean, that's the thing. It's less pulls of the trigger. But yeah, probably undressed would be the thing. And the bonus with the higher pH products is, guys, you can take advantage of one of the big factors of cleaning: dwell time. Use dwell time.
Yeah.
The other thing is, make sure you're scrubbing those tires. I mean, just because you put a cleaner on them doesn't mean that you shouldn't also scrub them, agitate them. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you did that, but just my advice. But yeah, if that doesn't work, undress is the answer.
Yeah. And for me, anytime a vehicle is new to me or even just brand new in general, I always start with undress the first time. Just because I do want to remove any old dressings or any, new tires kind of have like that kind of coating stuff on them. And so that's kind of my rule in my shop is if it's the first time that car's been in my shop or it's a brand new car, it just gets undressed right from the beginning.
Yep.
Takes the guesswork out of it.
Yep.
All right.
Well, and when you have the mold release on new tires and all that stuff from the factory, undress is just a little bit more powerful attack on those tires for sure.
Yep.
As a total wheel maintenance cleaner, you can't beat Brake Buster every day of the week, twice on Sunday, unless you're driving from one half of the state to the other. All right. Can I use Bead Maker as a topper for ceramic coating? What do you think?
Absolutely.
There we go. All right.
Every time.
I can't believe that question was asked. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Here's a reset towel. We have not talked much about Pearl and the reset towel, so I'll let you guys take that.
Yeah. So I don't use a lot of Pearl because I am primarily rinseless in my shop. So Anthony might know about this better, but I know the answer is absolutely yes, you totally can.
Yeah, you definitely can. So I like to use Pearl inside of my wash bucket, and then I like to use body wash inside my foam cannon. And the reason why is because when it's with Pearl inside my wash bucket, I like how the Pearl is more of a thin kind of mild soap, so it can kind of consumes my whole wash bucket. You know how sometimes you put some soap inside of a bucket of water to sit at the top of it. I like how Pearl, it consumes the whole wash bucket, so it gives me more lubricity on the paint. So of course you can definitely use it with the reset towel and just have it inside your wash bucket with the Pearl. But whenever I use a reset towel, I either use it with a bead maker or I use it with a paint gloss. Yeah, but you can definitely use it inside the bucket of Pearl.
Yep.
Yeah.
So before we go too far, Anthony, you owe everybody a post after this on social media.
Okay.
About your secret weapon in your wash bay, your bucket heaters.
Oh yeah. You don't have bucket heaters? You don't have bucket heaters?
No.
Anthony has immersion heaters that drop into his buckets. They're the plug-in electric. It was colder than all sin at his place when we did the training, and he had hot water in the buckets in like 5 minutes. It was the best thing ever, Sydney.
I mean, I've blown so many detailers' mind when they come inside here in the winter. They like, bro, how you still detailing? I'm like, I got bucket warmers, bro. They like, what? I sent them the link. They like, dude, I didn't know about this. And I was like, yeah, $30 off of Amazon.
You need to send that link to Bob Phillips for the training center. The training center needs.
Sometimes you can leave it out there too much and it'll be too hot.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, bucket warmers.
Yeah, no, they're awesome. So I had to throw that in there because, man, those were the best things ever on a cold morning.
That is amazing.
Ultracoat polish on interior plastic. A small correction with a little protection. Would it work? Maybe, but I think we have a better product.
So can I bring that up?
Yes.
Because I actually did this last week. So I had a Mazda CX-5 and it had, the little screen. So it wasn't like the typical screen that you think, but the one that like sticks up. And somebody before me had used some sort of dash wipes, some sort of chemical. I mean, it was all hazy. You could not see it at all when the car was on. I mean, the screen was completely ruined from chemical burns. And so I thought, what can it harm, right? And then it also had some of the piano black down on the center console. So I just thought, well, I'm not going to hurt anything. So I'm going to try to clean this up. And me not being very smart, I did not take a before picture and I really could kick myself. But I honestly thought this isn't going to work, but I thought I'm going to play with it. So I grabbed my Pixie, which has a 1-inch pad on it. And I used a yellow pad and I used the Envy jeweling polish. And polished the screen and the piano black with Envy on the yellow pad, and the screen looked like I replaced it. I mean, it came out 100% perfect. And the customer was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I can actually use my radio again. It was the craziest thing. It totally worked. I mean, like perfect. It was so exciting. So as an answer to that question, I would try Envy first. Ultra Coat's going to have a little bit stronger of an abrasive that I'd be a little bit nervous. I am always the type, though, if something is absolutely ruined and hammered and you literally can't ruin it anymore.
She said, why not?
Well, sometimes you just got to go break stuff, right, Anthony, as I always say. So this, by the way, is Alberto from DFW. I think we met Alberto at the class, but so I'm in a virtual background, but Anthony's actually in a real background, and he's actually got real product behind him. Anthony's showroom is fantastic. So if you are in DFW and you haven't gone and seen that sucker, you are missing out. Definitely. All right, so here's a question from Gabriel about SDSs, and I guess that probably falls a little more on my side. Gabriel, always with your flammables, so that's anything with a mineral spirit in it, which is your tree sap remover, etc. Should always store those in a double-walled metal flammables cabinet. Separating by shelf is probably enough for these. Most of this guidance on the SDS is really for shipping and handling, but some storage stuff does apply here. So would I put Bug Off next to my acid? It probably in a 32-ounce bottle hanging on Sydney's rack, you don't have a problem. But storing the bulk stuff, yeah, I would just put them on a different shelf. That's about it. And like I say, the flammable stuff, stick it in a flammable cabinet so you're legal and the OSHA people don't come knock on your door. Again, grounded plate, really not necessarily in a detail shop, but just make sure you store your stuff in a cool, clean, dry environment and keep them up off the floor as best you can. So that would be my advice on that one. Sid, any issues you've had in the past?
Well, I didn't know that I should be looking, but maybe I should go check.
So we're going to take
They're all in a cabinet, but I have no idea what's next to it.
Okay, back to the legal portion of the show. Any special live bead maker and coffee planned for TR SEMA? Well, no, because it's next week.
Yeah, so probably, not necessarily a bead maker and coffee, but we may be able to go live. So we will be here all in Boise together. But keep in mind, we are first up on TR SEMA. So we probably won't have too much time to go live that morning because we will be getting all mic'd up and ready to go. So we'll probably be, we might be able to go live just to remind you guys that we're going live on the Rag Company channel, but we probably won't have time for like an actual bead maker and coffee, but we can probably go live and remind everybody to head over to the Rag Company channel. But we are first up and it is a week from today.
Yep. Well, and hey, let's just call what next week is going to be. New P&S products and coffee. So can't call it bead maker and coffee because there's new stuff coming out on
you're not going to want to miss it
next week. You do not want to miss it. We might go live from the Sydney garage on Sunday for a few minutes.
Yeah, we could do that.
We'll have a few of us together at your place doing a little planning. But if we go live, it'll be really short. So, look for us next week because it's really our off week. And we did that on purpose so we wouldn't line up against the Rag Company. Just running through a few good mornings and a few thank yous. Okay, product of the week is Epic Wireless, brought to you by the Rag Company. There we go. The mystery box. It was in the mystery box.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what? I still love Epic. And actually, we get that question a lot. And, we all say we can pre-spray with Absolute. And I love doing that. But honestly, on these nasty winter cars, I still pre-spray with Epic. I still use a lot of Epic. And a lot of people, when I'm on the phone with them and stuff, they do ask me that question, like, so there's no place for Epic anymore? And I'm like, no, I still use a ton of Epic. I really do. So I like it as a pre-spray on these real dirty cars because it has a little bit more body to it and it sticks to the surface. So I still use Epic all the time. I use it on roofs all the time. I use it on door jams all the time. I love Absolute in the door jams if I'm pairing it with my steamer, but if I'm just doing a quick wipe of the door jams, I'm almost always still Epic.
Yep.
I love it.
And I would say the other thing with Epic is if you are mobile and you absolutely can't put a drop on the ground, you got to go Epic. You got to go water. You got to go with a waterless wash and go that way.
Yeah.
All right. So this is one we've done a whole video on. So you guys have 10 seconds each to answer the question.
Put them together.
Just put it together. That's the best bet. Put it together.
Put it together.
Okay.
They're better together.
I hope Dave is not watching.
Sorry, Dave. Put it together.
Bucket heater. Yes, bucket heater.
What?
That's from Kyle Clark.
Bucket heaters?
That's from Kyle Clark. You
Kyle,
need to post that link today, Anthony. You will have a million.
Kyle has experienced his first cold winter.
You guys go follow me on Instagram, and I'll make sure I post it on my story.
All right. Winter.
Yeah. It's
it's Eddie. Like frozen over here. Yes, it is, Eddie. I was there.
It's in Pocatello, and Pocatello is like still the frozen tundra, and it is awful. Awful. Yeah. I'm sorry, Eddie.
Hey, it's 70 degrees over here.
Oh my gosh, it's so cold here. It's 24 degrees right now. 24 degrees here. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we pulled back into town and we were driving into the neighborhood to get to our house, and Lisa looked at me and she said, "Man, it's a huge difference between here and Boise because it's all green over here. Yeah. We're just waterlogged, and that's just what it is." But yeah, it was a huge difference. All right, the bucket heater is the truth. There we go.
Yes, sir.
I think that's the win of the show, product of the show. Anthony, there you go.
Anthony, you use B.
So next question.
Exactly, Alex.
Yep.
All right, Alex, for the answer of the day, we didn't even need to do anything.
Hey, friendly giant. Oh, that's that must be Gabriel saying hi to Kyle.
It was, yes. Kyle came on here and said, "Gotta support my favorite people." Awesome to have you on the show today, Kyle. All right, replying to Facebook user. Yeah, okay, we're gonna just keep going here. There we go, Anthony. You just been invited to the Cleaner Cast.
Let's go. I'm with it.
The Cleaner Cast. I love the Cleaner Cast.
Okay, okay.
I didn't put it that way, but
sucks cheeks. Oh yeah, 70, man. It's great out here.
All right, we are out of questions. Apparently, everybody wants us to be done quick today. Come on, guys. We got a half an hour of Anthony with us. You guys got to have some questions.
Most definitely. I'm
here we go. Alex DeWard, if anybody needs winter survival tips.
Yes. Yes. Man, is it ever going to be over? That's the crazy thing. I mean, we still drove through a couple snow squalls yesterday. It was ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
You're going to love it, bro. Whoever you are, you're going to love it. It's like
that's Clayton the Oxborough, so that's awesome. Yes. It seems like we are in a prolonged winter. I think that groundhog saw its shadow 4 times. So the groundhog needs to be retired, man.
So let's cover this bucket heater just real quick again. So do you have to have plugged in?
Yeah, you have to have it plugged in inside your socket, just a regular 12-volt socket. You just have it plugged in, put it inside water, and it give you probably like a minute or two, and your water is going to be hot.
Okay, and it doesn't burn your wash media like your sponges or anything? It doesn't burn it?
Nope.
It's got a kind of a cage around the outside of the element. So yeah. Otherwise, it would burn through the bucket too.
Because usually plugging something in and putting it in a bucket of water is not recommended.
Yeah, but
it's designed for it. Yeah.
Hey, Kelvin.
That's crazy.
He's going to get one now. You watch. Here it comes.
Kelvin.
That's so great. I love it.
All right. Kyle says he's going to build an ark in California.
We definitely need those in the training center.
Bring me a bucket heater.
We should send Bob those for his special training coming up next week.
Well, we do owe him a birthday present.
You say, which do you guys prefer between Showroom, Shine, and Dreammaker? So Paint Gloss and Dreammaker. I'm not going to lie to you. I prefer Paint Gloss. It's more versatile.
Yeah. It really is a versatile product. I mean, Dreammaker is awesome at what it does, but it's kind of a one-trick pony in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I use both. Yeah, I use both, but if I could only have one to survive the rest of my life, it would be Paint Gloss because it pretty much can do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, Gordon. There it is. Look at that.
Out here. Oh my gosh. Okay, totally different than what I was thinking.
I'm gonna do this.
And so you don't ever burn yourself, huh?
The heating element is right here on the inside.
Oh.
This is a guard around it.
Okay. So that probably just slowly warms. So if you touched it, it wouldn't be hot.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an immersion heater. Yeah.
Okay.
It's for water. It's made to be put inside the water.
Yeah. Okay.
You have just a regular plug it in.
Okay. Wow.
So I have like 3 of them.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
On Amazon. About $30.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Start of the show today.
All right. So starting detailer here, what steps did you find most helpful when getting your business going? What do you think?
Steps? Getting started, what steps? It's a lot of steps. Okay, I guess I'm trying to see
a lot of steps.
Yes, I mean,
let's throw out the process and procedure. What business thing did you find most useful that you did when you started, Anthony?
It's social media. That was the main thing. Social media. I'm big on personality. My personality is a real big personality. I'm very charismatic. So I get on social media and I just blast it. Show them what I'm doing. Show them before and after. Show them the process. But I don't ever give up. But I think the main thing to win is right now take advantage of social media and show them the process. Don't half-ass. It's a lot. I mean, I don't know. People ask me this stuff a lot. Like, what's the steps? I don't ever really know like a good answer to give them because it's a lot. And then sometimes I don't want to make it sound as if it's just like me, but you have to let your personality be shown. People want to buy into you. Once they buy into you, and then once you have that product, the product will sell for itself after you've sold your personality. But you have to make sure you back it up with the work. So first thing they're going to see is your personality, your image. So make sure that's together. Then make sure your workflow is together. Make sure the product that you're delivering is good. So once you do that, it's a win-win. So you have no chance but to win. So
if I were to describe you, Anthony, I would say all in and tenacity.
Exactly.
Because I've never seen you not be all in on whatever you're doing. And your tenacity is fantastic.
Yes, thank you. You have to be. I've been told a lot that I shouldn't be where I am. I've been told a lot that I shouldn't even be detailing cars. I've been told a lot that I shouldn't even start. I should never quit in my job that I worked at for 10 years as a diesel mechanic to go into them wash cars. So every time I detail a car, I hear those voices in my head. So that right there is what makes me keep going. Every time I get on social media, I hear those voices in my head. It makes me push even harder because I know they're still watching. So I'm one I have to make sure you see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna make sure you know that I'm killing it. So I think that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And so since we were just talking about that, before I give my answer, I want to take this opportunity to tell everybody, if you don't already follow Anthony, you need to go follow him. So Anthony's Car Care on Instagram, The Detailer Life.
Carter's Car Care.
Carter's Car Care.
Carter's Car Care. What in the world am I talking about? But because, and you are so right on this, because obviously I know you, I love you, but your stuff is so infectious that you can't tap forward. Right. So, and that is such a big key on social media is that we post all this stuff, but if people don't look at it, it doesn't really matter, right? There's this whole algorithm thing, right?
Yep.
And your posts, you can't fast forward because they're so entertaining and your personality comes out and it's so infectious that no one ever wants to fast forward through it. You know, you kind of want to see what's going on, and it's so well done. And it's so great to see every day. I know for me, it's like one of the highlights of my day, honestly, because it's so, I mean, you're like spirit animal. Like it's so great. And so if you guys don't already follow him, go follow him. Fantastic.
I honestly feel like the world needs more of it. That's why I'm always doing it, because there's so much negativity that's going on. I'll be the one, if it had to just come through me, I'll be the one that come on your social media that day, that morning, and smile and laugh and let you see happiness. Because it's a lot of times I wake up and I'm kind of like not in a good mood. But I know if I'm the one that's waking up and not in a good mood, there's so many others that's not. So let me be the one that help them change their whole day and say, you know what? If he's out here detailing cars, happy, singing, doing whatever he's doing, I can wake up and be in a good mood. So I'm all about trying to change that aspect.
I love it. So good job on that. So then for me, steps that I found most helpful. So a little bit to echo what Anthony said is mine's the same, is just your marketing strategy. And so my marketing strategy when I first started, I didn't have any extra money. You know, I was starting from ground zero. I had $45 to start my business. So I didn't have a marketing budget. So again, I really had to sell myself. I had to not be afraid to ask for referrals. I had to not be afraid to sell myself. At the time when I opened my business, I wasn't the most educated detailer. I didn't have the best chemicals. I didn't have the best tools, but I had my heart and how I felt about my clients' cars. And so, I just had to really make sure, like Anthony said, to put that forward. I had to put forward, my love of their car and my love of what I was doing. And I just had to be not afraid to ask for referrals because I needed all those referrals for free. I didn't have the money to advertise anywhere. So I had to use social media. I had to use word of mouth. And that is what, and still to this day, 11 years later, I still have not spent $1 on marketing because that is what worked for me so well in the beginning that I've just stuck with that the whole time. So definitely, that make sure you need to put forth yourself, what makes you set apart from other detailers in your area. The other thing that I thought was really helpful is, it is a little bit on the education side and not necessarily education that you have to be, that you have to get certified or anything like that. I think that, once you can move to that point where you can attend some of these classes, like, the certification event that Keith and Anthony did at his shop, I think those are great, but work up to those. You don't never need to overextend yourself. And so there is a lot of good information on YouTube. Make sure you're going to the right sources, however, but seek out those YouTube channels that provide education that can be really helpful on processes to make you efficient and effective. I know we try to, put a lot of process videos up on the PNS YouTube channel. The Rag Company does a great job. There's a lot of places out there that do a great job. So make sure you're using reputable YouTube sites, but use those in the meantime to get down your efficiency processes. That's such a big one. And I think that was something that I learned the wrong way was, I used to take so long to do certain things, and time is money, and efficiency and wear and tear on your body that, get some tips and tricks to save you some time.
Right.
For sure.
Yep. The other thing I will say, and I see this with both of you and a lot of the detailers, and actually a lot of my friends in this industry that I think are successful, the family's all in too. So it is a support structure. Anthony, dude, when we did the event at your shop, everybody was there from the family, kids, in-laws, wife, everybody was there. And Sydney's the same. The whole family's in on it, and the mini me is now part of the business. So that's awesome for Sid. Around here, I don't lack for support, and anybody I know doesn't really either. So getting the family on board is a huge thing, because if you've got a battle at both sides, it's tough. There's just a lot going on in this world. So the less fight you have to have internally makes things go a lot better. All right, moving on. Yes, it's a great shirt. Thank you, Joe.
That Joe?
That's Joe. Eddie, you're scaring me, man. I'm not sure I would go for the pond heater, because it sounds like a little bit of outside use for that. Electricity and water. Yeah, I'll be that guy. I don't know what to tell you.
That's hilarious.
Tony, piece of advice. Once it's hot, take the heater out and unplug it.
It's scary, but it works.
Stage 2. What is stage 1? Clarence the Detailer, this is the best question ever. So many people missed number 1. What's stage 1 on the carpet system?
Terminator.
Terminator is our spot stain remover. It's got a 4-enzyme package in it. I'm not going to go into that. But I will tell you, that's, when you're having stain issues, pre-treat the stains first. Again, dwell time, right? Let that stuff sit the longest.
Yep.
Agitate it. Do your carpet bomber. Sydney, you stack them, right?
I do. I stack them. And I think that what is really important here is you never want to skip stage 1. You never want to skip the Terminator, because even though we all see those stains, we have no idea what's in there. We don't know, even if they say, well, I spilled a coffee, there could be other stuff on the carpet that we don't know about. So for me, I do all three every single time without question.
Right.
I always start with Terminator. You want to get that stain to start breaking up and, for it to do all its magic. And then you follow up with the Carpet Bomber. I do just generally stack them.
Right.
Now, that being said, it could be because at this point in my career, I don't get that dirty of cars. So if you're dealing with something that is really dirty, do them individually. For sure. So, but never skip step one. That is one thing I've learned. Never skip step one, because we have no idea what all is in that carpet. We don't.
Right. And, on a big stain, I absolutely do them separately, because you want to let that product really work, and you want to agitate it and give it a chance to do its thing.
Right.
Amylase, cellulase, protease, and lipase are the 4 enzymes in that package, just because I know somebody asked. And I know
a lot of people miss a lot. Go ahead.
Somewhere on his drive over the bridge to the office, Bob is smiling because the bottle label thing worked, because somebody asked what stage 1 was.
Yeah. But see, a lot of people miss stage 3. They always just either get
What's stage 3?
It's finisher. So why would you? I try to explain to my customers whenever they come in and get either Terminator or Bomber or Carpet Bomber, like get finisher. That's like running in a race and you get to the ribbon and you just stop and just say, hey, I'm done. Like, you got to run through the race. You got to finish it. So you got to come in with finisher. Like they'll just try to get either step 1 or just get step 2, but don't get step 3. And they're like, oh, I don't need step 3. Yeah, you do. It's finisher. You got to finish strong.
Right.
They're just going to make sure that the stain doesn't resurface. You got to neutralize everything.
Exactly.
After they seen it, after I made an Instagram post, they're like, oh, okay, damn, I do need that. Yes.
Right. So finisher is a peroxide finisher. It's going to help us brighten the carpet. It's going to neutralize any residual soaps in there. It'll help us dry the carpets a little faster, because it does have some oxidizing effect.
Yep.
Just kind of an all around, just touch it up and make it right and finish it properly. So.
Right. And no, you don't need to try to mix them together like Bead Maker and Dream Maker.
No, and actually you don't want to.
You don't want to.
Yeah. Some people say, well, can I just mix them? No.
You can stack them, but don't mix them.
Yeah. Right.
Don't mix them.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
All right. I've seen farmers use the bucket heater to keep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's probably more than we need.
Maybe they weren't made for detailers.
You know what's so crazy about that? To talk about that bucket heater. One time, I went to a church, and their heater, they was about to get ready to baptize some people, but their hot water didn't work, and so they said, "Hey, can we use your bucket heaters?" And so I had 3 of them. I said, "You know what? Just put out 3 of them inside the bathtub." I mean, but it warmed up the water. They were baptized. So I was like, "Yeah, go ahead, man."
That's awesome.
Your bucket heaters are blessed. Dipped in holy water. There you go.
Awesome. That's great.
I think that would be a good option to put on the shelf.
Would it be a good option to put on the shelf for customers? Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
So, Sydney, what does Mike have in his car at all times?
Always paint gloss. Yeah, we both do. We keep paint gloss for everything, because you can literally use it. So bird poops on your car, you can clean it up real fast. If somebody spills something in your car, you can clean it. I mean, even if somebody spills something on your carpet, use the paint gloss, spray it, get it saturated, use a towel. So we use it for everything. I mean, getting dust off, getting pollen off.
Yeah.
If you accidentally have to go through a car wash and you need to help the car wash, get the drips off so that your wife doesn't know you went through the car wash.
You can use it at home on the table counters.
Oh, yeah.
On the mirrors inside the restroom, they work good. I use paint gloss for everything.
Me too. I use it everywhere.
I keep it inside my wife's car as well. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I use it to clean my glasses sometimes. My daughter's glasses. Hey, paint gloss is perfect.
Yeah.
So Eddie, we love that you give them a bottle of Bead Maker. Don't stop doing that. But if you switch to paint gloss, they probably love you just as much. All right. Here we go. All right. Talking about social media, what has helped my business? Go join your local Chamber of Commerce. And I will say this, and I think, Anthony, you'll agree, and Sydney, you'll agree. If you're going to do social media to grow your customer base who buy product, in other words, detailing from you, Don't advertise to me in Portland, Oregon if you're in Orlando, Florida.
Right.
Attack social media on the local market level. That's where you get your inroads, right? Because your customers are not driving across the country to you. So market to the people and talk to the people that are your customer. And the Chamber of Commerce is great. Other businesses like to help other businesses. You may never get a person at the chamber to give you business directly, but they may say, oh, somebody said they needed a detail and I told them to go see Anthony. And that word, again, word of mouth can be a huge thing. You know, it is about giving back a little bit and basically getting engaged. So for sure, that's a great idea.
Find those local business groups on Facebook too. There's so many Facebook groups that you can be sharing your business post in to get your name out there locally. You know, whether it be like a buy, sell, trade group or just a community business group, there's lots of them out there. So make sure you're in those groups because that's where you're going to get the most. You know, I know for me locally, there's a couple groups where people are constantly posting, you know, and it might even be like there's a section of Boise called the Bench. And so there's like Boise bench dwellers. And I mean, you'll see on there all the time people say, you know, where should I go to get my car detailed? And then people tag, you know, the local businesses. And so, you know, you can advertise on places like those and it's free.
Yep. The other thing I would say is, you know, Anthony, you mentioned it, the Corvette Club that you are involved with. I mean, you know, once you connect to somebody in those, you know, connect to the group, right? Go do a talk, go visit people, go to their show.
All the time.
And don't sell anybody anything. Don't even attempt. Just go to their show, support those guys. It's really a cheap investment to see the ROI. You know, if you got one detail out of spending $10 to go to their show, hey, you're ahead of the game. So it looks like you have a new follower, Anthony. Good for you. Glad we're growing your social media.
Tap in on that. Like when you go into these different car shows and you, like you said, don't try to go inside there selling, but you also, whenever you get involved with these car clubs, there's a lot of these people that's in these car clubs that you can just network with because these people, they know people. And a lot of times it's a lot of veterans that's inside of these car clubs. And so they also have friends that have these other kind of cars like Lamborghinis that you would probably want to do, but they have more opportunities inside within that car club. Some people are lawyers, some people are doctors, and they have friends with these friends who got these nice cars. It's just always just to be there and just be available, just to talk to these guys, tell them about the products. Because a lot of these guys, when they go to these car shows, they really want to just kind of touch up their cars themselves. And if you selling products, you can let them know, like, hey, try paint gloss. You can use paint gloss for almost anything on the car. When it's already clean, just to dust it up, use the paint gloss. Another thing that I like to do too is I don't mean to cut you off, Sid. But another thing I like to do too is I go out if I'm when I'm driving my truck. You know, my truck, it has the detailer big stamp on it. So if I see people and I'm out here and they're detailing, and I always keep products inside of my truck. So if I see a guy I detail, and I'll pull up on the side of him, hey man, what kind of products you using? Man, what you using today? What you detailing? I was like, hey man, you should try this right here. And I get out the car in my regular clothes and start, you know, touching them up, showing them how to use it. And they're like, oh, dude, I love this. Where can I get it from? I have a shop right here in Arlington. Matter of fact, you can have this bottle that's on me. You can have it for the rest of the car. Let me know what you think about it. You want some more? Come up to the shop. Here goes my card. You know, I just like getting out here and being able to be someone inside the industry who I didn't have when I was coming in the industry. I just wish I had someone who could just be there and be like, hey man, what products are you using? Try this right here out. Because a lot of things that goes on in this detailing industry, people think it's a competition. It's not a competition. It's always better when we can win together. And sometimes you have to just give somebody a pint-sized bottle of a product that you know is good to help that detailer out. Why not? It's gonna make their job easier. You're creating a relationship with that person, and they're gonna always come back to you, and they're gonna look up to you for advice. So I like to always just kind of give back because I know it's gonna come back to me tenfold. So that's another thing.
Yeah. The only thing I wanted to mention was because you kind of brought it up was that a lot of these guys like to do their own cars. But what I have found with these guys from the car shows, and funny side fact is I've run a car show now for 9 years. And for the first 7 of them, I never told anybody I was a detailer. So I was the one running the car show, but I actually used it to put other detailers forward. So I would invite other detailers to come to my car show and set up. And that worked very well, but none of my car show participants knew that I was a detailer until actually PNS started helping me, and then that let the cat out of the bag. But, the cool thing about this, though, is that when you do go to those car clubs and the car shows, is a lot of those guys do like to be the only ones that touch their cars. But you know what they have? they have daily drivers that they don't want to touch.
Right.
So what I have found is when I'm networking with these guys in these car clubs and stuff, I end up with 3 cars per person, right? Because they'll start using me for their daily drivers, both them and their spouse. And then it might take a year or 2, but I eventually get that show car.
Right.
Because they use their daily drivers as, well, I'm going to test this person out. And so that's the coolest thing I find is that you get really good customers networking with these car clubs and stuff, but you end up getting more than just that car in the car club.
Right.
Because it's their daily driver that they don't want to touch.
Well, and let's be honest, some of these cars in the car shows, the paint's old and it needs a ton of work, and you're almost better off to get the daily driver,
right?
Because it's a little bit easier to work on. Yeah. So, it's not necessarily a bad thing to not pick up the show car.
Yeah.
Show car detailing is its own critter, and, you invest a lot of time in them. So getting their daily driver, getting their other car, getting their wife's car, their husband's car is not a bad thing. And it's, and look, it pays just as well.
Yeah. Totally.
So, Josh Pierce saying, get out in your community, be active in the car community. Absolutely.
Yep.
Never miss stage 1. Very, very good, Jeremiah. You're learning. You're on it. You're all over it.
There's a reason it's called stage 1, right?
So, Jeremiah, I think we're talking about stacking. Yes, we are. That's what we do. All right. I'm a DIY guy and tips and tricks speeding up my client process or cleaning process. My truck is CC and it still take me every day. So, not sure all that, but.
Yeah, Robert, check out our videos. We try to show processes to help you speed up, but really the main thing is a lot of it is the tools and processes can make it so much faster. All right, Anthony, hook a dude up.
Oh, social media. Okay, so check this out. I have 4 Instagram pages, which I'm active on all 4. So I have the Detailer Life, which is for the clothing brand, _detailer_life. That's just for the clothing brand. Then I have Carter's Car Care, which is Carter's_car_care. That's just strictly auto detailing, like what I do on a daily basis. That's the one I'm always going crazy on. Then I have Carter's Detail Supply, which is for the detail store, and that's Carter's_detail_supply. And then I have the Detailer Truck. That's my it's my truck. It has its own it has his own Instagram page, which is the_detailer_truck. So I'm active on all 4 of them. I'm always doing something on one or the other. So you may want to catch them on all 4 because you never know what you're gonna miss.
Yeah.
So.
And I highly recommend checking out his clothing brand because it is literally like the nicest stuff. I'm obsessed with it. I love it.
Thank you.
It is one of those things, like, honestly, I get so many comments on it. So many.
Yeah.
And even like my mini-me, we brought her up, Delaney. She wore this sweatshirt a couple weeks ago, and I have a pair of Nike Dunks that match it, that are the teal color. Okay. And she wore that outfit to school, and she got so many compliments. And like at noon, she texted me and she goes, "Mom, never have so many people commented on my outfit." Yeah. And like, she loves it. She's a huge fan, but literally like the quality of the shirts and the sweatshirts and stuff are so great that you guys have to go check it out. I'm a huge fan.
So comfortable. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much.
I love it.
I like to wear this because it's so easy for me to throw it on, and people, it may sound kind of weird, but I don't like trying to go and sell myself. Right. Like, who details your car? He details your car. I don't like really doing that. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, I really don't like talking that much. I'm kind of, I know, right? I know. That wasn't a joke, guys. That was not a joke. So I'm actually kind of shy. Believe it or not, I'm actually kind of shy. But so when I wear this, people have to come to me and they say, "Hey, so you detail cars?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Have a car, give them a car, and keep going. But I also like it because I wanted to make it for us detailers to wear, and it makes it like an easy sell.
Yeah.
As long as you wear it, it's gonna bring attention to someone. They're gonna say, "Hey man, so you detail cars?" Mm-hmm. As long as you have your car, you can always close the deal. Yeah, here goes my number, my website. Go check us out. So I mean, and I just kind of got tired of having to wear other people's clothes. Mm-hmm. And I have my own. So
yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
So Jeremiah, finisher, yes. Step 3. Hey, check this out. Look who piped in and made a comment. There you go, Anthony.
Make sure you get your
you got some new socks.
What's up, babe?
Talk about family supporting the program, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Go.
That's so great.
Does finisher help the drying process? Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Yep. She hooked him up.
It's the Carter's Car Care thing.
Betty. Great. Good morning, boys and girls. That's my guy, Chris Lee, right there coming
There
in.
it is. Hey, holy bucket heaters. There you go.
That's Joe. I was amazed at how fast that warmed the water.
So Joe was there with us at his shop, and it was like, dude.
Joe's gonna need those too, because Seattle, they've had more snow this year than, geez Louise. Paint gloss, the Swiss Army knife, totally.
Yes.
Absolutely. Who's this one from? I always put in who said that?
That is Brian Hernandez. Thank you, Brian.
Oh, Brian. Yeah. That's my guy.
All right. Awesome. It's just the good mornings are coming in.
Thanks, Eddie, for joining us.
Thank you, brother.
Warm up there. Geez. Poor guy.
How do you start your pricing package for your business? I've been thinking about doing detailing on the side. So we typically business-wise say, all right, take and figure out how much time it takes you to do a vehicle, what your total cost of materials are, what your total cost and total time is, right? How much you want to make per hour paying yourself, how much profit you want to make per hour, and then all of your overhead included in that, divide that out, based on an 8-hour day, whatever it is, and what those expenses are, and go, okay, I need X, so if it's $10 for product, $10 for overhead, and then you want to pay yourself X and you want to make X amount of profit, which the profit goes back into things like marketing, which can be free or, you can spend on insurance, whatever. Then you kind of figure out what your hourly rate is. And then you basically need to charge that based on how many hours you think you're going to do. Mm-hmm. Great formula. If you generally have an idea how much you want to make per car, that's great. One thing I will say is usually you undershoot your number for what your value is.
Yeah.
Sydney's smiling there.
Yeah, I was going to say, this was my biggest challenge. So one thing, and this isn't as much of an issue as it used to be. It used to be much bigger of an issue, was check your local market. I feel like the markets have kind of regulated because of social media that there is the price gap has been closed. I know when I first started detailing, details in California were significantly more than they were in Idaho. And now they're kind of the same everywhere, probably because of social media and social media marketing. So it used to be a bigger deal to check your area, but I would still check it and just see kind of what the range for your area is in. But then one of the biggest things, and this was where I made the biggest mistake, was I totally undervalued myself because I used the excuse of, well, I'm just a part-timer. I'm working out of my garage. I don't have any overhead. So I should be lower than the shops. And that was such a huge mistake because in a lot of ways, I was a lot more passionate and I was providing a much higher service. I was providing a private service. And so that's not to say that I should be higher than a shop, but I should have at least been equal to them because I was just providing a different kind of service. And so, that was definitely one thing that was tough to learn, was to, believe in my value and stick to that. Because I look back now and I can't believe the stuff that I used to do for almost no money. And then at that point, it's just not worth it. And because I will live with it for every day, the rest of my life, because I literally made bad decisions. I worked too hard for no money, caused physical damage. And yeah.
And the other thing is, especially in your situation, Sydney, you were more concierge oriented than those guys. And there's a price to pay for some convenience, because most of your customers are in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So it was, you would recover the car, bring it back, do the car, take it back, provide a loaner vehicle when you needed to. Right. There was a lot more that you did and provided than maybe you take into account. So, everybody's a little different. But, you got to calculate out what it is that you need to make to spend the time. It is a little bit of a difference engine. What could I do with that time to generate revenue if I were making money doing something else? Yeah. And there is a significant factor to that, that reality. Yeah. Anthony's in a perfect position. If he does a detail today that's 4 hours or 8 hours or whatever he puts into the car that he is not working on his business or out selling product on the street. So there has to be a difference engine consideration of what could I do to generate revenue if I wasn't doing this car right now. And we all have, run across I'm doing a car and I should have charged $1,200 and not $600 because the paint's that bad and I'm putting in 12 hours, whatever. But for the most part, on average, you got to look at what's it take me to do an average car in this amount of time. I know a lot of folks, Sydney, you kind of have a fixed price schedule. If you do a detail, it's this. If you do a coating, it's this. Some folks look at it, Anthony, I'm sure you do. You look at the car, you look at the condition, and you assess every car and do an estimate. Whichever way you do it, calculate what your hourly rate is and what you think you can do a car in and be consistent with. Most of Sydney's cars now are people that she's had for a long time. So your pricing structure is a little different. Anthony, you probably see a lot of new customers just because people show up and go, hey, I like the shirt. Where can I get my car detailed? And now you're starting from scratch on an estimate of what it takes for time. So never underestimate a good time assessment on what it's going to take to do a car and what your hourly rate is, because that's usually the best way to start, and then you'll figure it out as you go. There's no substitute. People ask me all the time, Sydney all the time, well, what pad and what product do I start with to polish the paint? Well, after you've done 1,200 cars, you'll have a different answer than after you've done 12 cars. And that's just because of experience and time. So a little bit of this is a learning curve, but don't devalue yourself for sure.
Yeah.
All right, bouncing over here. Is body wash similar to Pearl, pH neutral? I guess I'm trying to understand the difference.
Great question.
What you think? I like to use Pearl in my bucket, and I just like to use body wash as my foam can. It's more concentrated, high foaming. So whenever it hits the paint, it clings to it. It gives me more working time. So that's just me.
Yeah.
So body wash is about a 200-to-1 ratio product, whereas Pearl's 128-to-1. So yeah, a little more bang for your buck in the foam cannon. Pearl seems to be a little gentler on the hands. The pH is not all that different, although I would say body wash might be a little bit more aggressive. It's just a thicker, more concentrated soap with a little less hand-friendly, maybe feel to it, I guess, would be my assessment. I haven't noticed much of a difference when I use either one, but as far as effect on my hands, but my hands are pretty impervious, so they're leather coated these days.
Yeah. So I don't do a lot of bucket washes, so I'm not the best for this answer, but Pearl is just, an absolutely fantastic soap that you can use on any car. Body washes too, but body wash for me, I notice when I grab it, like Anthony, I only use it in the foam cannon. And I do feel like when I do grab body wash, it's on those trucks that have been up hunting and they're super dirty. And I feel like I need almost what I would kind of consider like a stripping soap. Like I really need it to clean. And so I don't do that very often, but if I do, that's what I'm putting in my foam cannon is body wash. I really love body wash. It's a great soap. I just don't do bucket washes. So, but I love both, but they are very different. They are very different.
And another thing too, I could say that with Pearl, it's a little bit thinner. So when you use inside the foam cannon, it'll get on the paint, but it'll kind of start running a little bit. Sometimes you kind of want that because if you use something like body wash, it's gonna clean. But I like it that it cleans and that people, to the viewers, they love seeing that the thick foam.
Right.
So it grabs their eyes. But at the same time, whenever you're rinsing it off, it's gonna be a little bit more water that you're gonna be using to get the soap out than what you would use with Pearl, because Pearl it'll run, so it doesn't. It's a little bit thinner, but body wash is thicker, so it's more foamier. So you're gonna use more water to get it off. So it just depends on what you're trying to do at that time. So
Yep, and rinsing, it takes time, and the more time you spend on something, the time is money. So yes, although Tony, we may have some clothes for you too.
Tony, he has kids' clothes too, and they're so cute. Tony has two of the cutest little boys.
Oh yeah,
the boys t-shirts too. They're so cute.
All right, we are into the speed round. So thank you, Fast Eddies.
Yep. Make yourself stand out. Get IDA certified. Take classes. Invest in yourself. Yep, to provide superior service. Love it.
There you go. What do you use for scheduling? Invoices or quotations?
So I'll answer real quick and then I'm going to let Anthony take it because for me, I do kind of run a different kind of business. I'm very like Keith said, concierge site. So I'm still all verbal. The customers that I'm dealing with, a lot of them, I only probably have about maybe one new customer every 2 weeks because that's all that I put in. So I don't really do traditional quoting in the way that shops do. So I'm still verbal, which is probably not the best for invoices. What do you use for quoting?
I just do the invoices, but I rarely do a quote. If they do a quote, they got to come in for me to check it out.
Yeah,
and I go from there. But yeah, I don't ever really just send over a quote. It's really hard to kind of just send somebody a quote. You have to see it. I can tell them what the price is going to start at.
Yeah,
they always want to know how much is it going to be.
Yeah.
I can't give you no answer until I see the car. I look over it, see what you want to do done with it, see the condition of it. Then that's when I can, give you a quote. So a lot of times, if you ask for a quote, you're gonna have to come in for me to check it out.
Yep. All right, Anthony, do you ship your clothing international?
I've never had that. I've never had no one ask me that before. I've never had to. So I don't know.
So that's Gabriel. So he's in the Netherlands, right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. That's one thing. If you ask about it, I can make it happen.
You know what, Gabriel? We can figure it out because I'm pretty sure that this summer there's some people coming to an area near you that we can do like the ship it here, put it on the plane with you, take it to you. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's gonna. We're definitely gonna get it to you.
Yep. Speaking of which, I do got to throw a shout out to speaking of international traveler. I was in town, so I decided to go see our friend at Masters of Shine, Mr. Levi Gates, on Saturday. So it was great to see Levi in his natural environment, which is the detail shop. Nice. And I'm looking forward to seeing him this coming weekend. But I did get a chance to sneak out and see him. I just wanted to give him a
very cool.
Thank him for the time. All right. Do you recommend something for breaking down grime before using the foam cannon? And our answer is
I use EnviroClean.
EnviroClean.
If you don't have EnviroClean, Mudbuster works great too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's from our off-road line, which this is off-road month. So there you go.
Yep.
When are we doing an IDA certification class?
Keith, it's on you. When you guys come back down, when can we do IDA certification?
Let's look at the calendar in the next couple of weeks. We'll make an announcement. Believe me, if Anthony has a class, you'll know about it. So,
you definitely will.
Yeah. I would love to do a certification event at your place, probably later in the summer or not too far from now, maybe the thing. So the schedule's filling up and we still got to hash out some stuff here at PNS before I can answer that. All right. Mr. Love himself, William Laura. Thank you, my friend.
Yes.
What's up, Will?
Loves the detailer.
All right. We are down to our last comment for the show. Here we go.
Is that from Gabriel? That I'll figure out.
That is from Gabriel. So everybody, thank you for a great show. Anthony, awesome to have you on, my friend.
Thank you, man. This is great.
Love what you're doing. Keep doing it. If you don't know, if you didn't pick it up, rewatch the show, but get Anthony's handles and follow him. Yes. Every platform is awesome. One of the things I will say about social media with Anthony, especially, you don't have to hit a home run every time. Just get up to the plate and take a swing at it and get your name out there. Yep. And the last part of that is always be positive.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Anthony. It was so fun having you on.
Thank you. It was definitely fun. This is crazy. I can't believe I'm on here. I feel like I made it.
You made it. You're here.
Mama, we made it.
Awesome. All right. Well, everybody. Awesome day. Have an awesome week. And we will see you in 2 weeks. After we get, we'll see you next Monday on TRC Mode, but then we'll be back with Beadmaker and Coffee in 2 weeks.
1 week from today, and we are up at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
Well, 10 Mountain Time. So it'll be
10 Mountain Time, 9 Pacific. Yep. You guys figure out the rest of the time zones. I'm not doing that.
11 a.m. for you, Anthony. I know that one.
Here we go. Okay, great. All right. We'll see you in a week, and then we'll see you in 2 weeks at our regularly scheduled event and time.
Sounds good.